Good morning, Rabotai. Welcome to Breakfast in the Class. Welcome to our special visitors also that are here for this class. Very, very special, Baruch Hashem. Today is a special day for a couple of reasons. It's a special day because it's my English birthday, and I wish I could give you full berachot, but I can't give you full berachot today. Really only tomorrow. Tonight is my Hebrew birthday. So I have the zechut of having them both on the same day, which is very, very rare and unusual. And it's not a 19-year cycle, so I'm not 38, right? But Baruch Hashem, I want to bless everyone in advance. I'm giving you I'm pre-blessing everybody, Be'ezrat Hashem, you should be zocher, to have all of the things that you need in order to be able to live your very best life. Hashem should bless you, Be'ezrat Hashem, each and every one of you. If a person needs a shidduch, to be able to find a shidduch b'kalut. If a person needs, Be'ezrat Hashem, parnasah, they should be zochet to find parnasah b'kalut. If they need safety or security, or they need health, or they need a feeling of purpose or of meaning, they should be zochet to find it very, very quickly. And Be'ezrat Hashem, kol asher tifnu tatzlichu, whatever you ask from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you should give to you through the feeling of being close to Him at all times. Karov Hashem l'chol korav l'chol yisher k'ru be'emet. Be'ezrat Hashem will be zochet to grow together in Torah and mitzvot, and to be zochet to be the generation that greets Mashiach b'mehera v'yamenu. Amen. I don't know if I'm going to be here tomorrow. I'd like to start by wishing my brother Eliyahu Fari and his wife Joyce a mazal tov on their baby boy. The brit is going to be tomorrow in Brooklyn. So I don't know. I might give the class before the 7:30 minyan. I haven't figured it out yet. But in case there's no class tomorrow, I just wanted to wish the Fari family and the Kishk family mazal tov on the brit milah. Also, we want to wish a mabruk mazal tov to Aaron Shochet on the birth of another baby. Baruch Hashem. Right? It's mazal tov to the Shochet and Resnick family this time. So last week we had the Shochet and Dilamani family, I think, right? Was it? Maybe I'm getting mixed up. I don't know which family is which, but I want to wish mabruk to the Shochet family, as the Resnick family, and the Dilamani family, and Simon and Eretz Israel. Be'ezrat Hashem, each and every one of us should experience the cascading effect of simachot in our life. We'd also like to wish a happy birthday to Nelson Braff, which I understand we missed a very special opportunity, and he's come all the way from. Sorry? Wow, I'm a New Jersey boy too. Congratulations! Many happy returns to you. Happy birthday, dear Nelson. Happy birthday to you. Let us begin. Learning for this week is dedicated by the Torah Center Gold donors, the Ash brothers, Isaac and David Ash. Embrace Torah knowledge, learn with passion, do with purpose, give with generosity. Of course, as well, for Refuah Shlema, for Chana Bat Semafega and Eliyahu Ben Shimon Ben Mazar Fortuné. And finally, the week of Cobra, sponsored by David Ash in honor of you and your substantial capacity to do good today and every day. Let us be Yinsky. Says the Pasuk, V'yavo kol ish asher nisa'o libo. And they will come, every man. Asher nisa'o libo, whose heart has raised them up. V'chol asher nadva rucho. And all those who had and experienced a generosity of spirit. Oto eviu et terumat amonai. They brought the terumah, the gift from God. Now, I want to share with you a fascinating point that's brought up by the Ben Ish Chai. He asks a very interesting question. He says that ostensibly the idea of a person giving charity or giving to the Beit HaMikdash because Nisa'o Libo, his heart raised him up. The translation in Onkelos on these words is Kol Gever Di'itrai Libe, that his heart will desire, will want. Okay? That's what his heart wants. When someone wants something, so if you want to give in your heart, those are the people that brought the donations to the Beit HaMikdash. Now, what's wild to me in looking at this idea is that the pasuk then continues and says, and also, not only the person whose heart desired to give, but also, asher nadva rucho, that his spirit was generous. Those two things are really identical. In both scenarios, the reason why you're giving is because you have this feeling, this desire, this excitement to be able to do something. I'm sure many of us have been approached by someone at some point in our life to ask for tzedakah. Some of us approached many times in one day. In the Bet Knesset over here, sometimes we could have 12 people on the, standing by the door. You're running what we call the tzedakah gauntlet, right? I feel like they should create, obviously that they have all the things that you could tap and do your credit card. I feel like they should create like a very long one. And then you could just run with your credit card down the thing, and like each one has their own zone. And then as you run past everybody, it's like, you manage to give tzedakah to everybody, right? They charge, I don't know if they charge me or they charge them, but someone's making money. Someone's making money, And by the way, all these guys, poor fellows, they come all the way from Israel to raise money for some great need. And then the guy drives them, takes like 30% or whatever from the money that you give them. And then they wind up having to pay for the ticket. And they wind up this and that. So Hazi, you're like, look, 3 people already asked me. The guy's like, I don't care who asked you already. I'm asking everybody. It's very difficult sometimes to be able to see it from their perspective. And you see it from your own perspective, that I was already annoyed by 3 other people. The guy feels, what does that have to do with me? And what does that have to do with my need or my problem? So this is one of those conversations where the person who's giving and the person who's receiving are really not in the same universe. And that's a very difficult thing. So the Ben Ish Chai asks, what's the difference between a person who wants to give with their heart or a person who wants to give with their soul, with their spirit? It seems to be the same thing. And he says a very interesting idea. And I thought that this idea is applicable in such a wide range of circumstances that all of us could apply the message that he's bringing. So listen to what he says. He says that when someone comes and asks you for something, how does a person feel in those times when the Yetzer Hara is trying to tell you, look, you gave already, look, it's the end of the year, look, the finances are a little bit tight. What happens? Listen to what he says. Yachshov le'atzmo. He should think to himself in that minute, Shu ashir muflag, that he is a billionaire. Now, I don't know if anyone here watched the Super Bowl, but in the Super Bowl, there was a Chinese company that tried again and again and again to catch your attention. The name of the company is called, I can't say, I don't want to advertise for them because they're Chinese, and then who knows if they're going to track your data, and I don't know. But it rhymes with shmimu, okay? Anyway, this company that wants to sell you really cheap things called Temu, I don't know the exact Temu, right? People are nodding. I can see some of you already customers. Happy customer?
I didn't get anything yet, but my friend got 6 fishing rods for about $10 a piece and a reel for $15.
6 fishing rods for $10 a piece. Okay, guys? That too can be yours. If you were planning, I'm just putting this out there. If you were planning on buying me a birthday present, please do not buy me 6 fishing rods. Also, do not buy me 1 fishing rod. I'm more of a buy fish in the shape of a sushi roll type of a guy than a go fish.
But if
okay.
you give them your name anyway, you're selling it just
endless. I can imagine that, by the way. I also imagine that suddenly, in the middle of the night, you start feeling yourself, reciting from the Communist Manifesto. Either way, the point is, my friends, so Temu had a brilliant advertisement. And what was the advertisement? Shop like a billionaire. And I was thinking to myself, do billionaires really buy super cheap things from super dodgy, places? I don't know many billionaires, but I don't feel like that's a billionaire thing. I'm not sure. Maybe that's how they became so wealthy. Either way, the idea is shop like a billionaire. It's so cheap. You could buy whatever you want. You want shoes? Got them. You want 6 fishing rods? Knock yourself out. Let's go. You could do it. You could do it all. Shop like a billionaire. The Ben Ish Chai has a little bit of a different message than Temu. He says, don't shop like a billionaire. Give like a billionaire. Someone asks you for money, you're about to give them a donation. First stop for a second and imagine yourself to be the wealthiest person. He says this, if you have 100,000 gold dinars, he says, which was an extraordinary amount of money, just exorbitant. And when a person thinks that they have that money, then when you give the money to this poor person, you could feel, but the Yetzer Hara is trying to tell you, give less. You already gave him. You asked him last time. You already gave 3 people. Who cares? Who cares? I have so much money. When a person thinks that way, when they see themselves in that light, then they're capable of responding to the Yetzer Hara's request or seduction to be cheap, to be stingy, and not to give. So I was thinking to myself, hold up, is this good advice? Is the Ben Ish Chai giving you good advice? Pretend you're something that you're not. Let's make believe right now. You're writing a check to this guy. Make believe that you have $1 billion. Is that what the Ben Ish Chai is telling you to do? I think the answer is something very different. The Ben Ish Chai is not, he doesn't want us, he's not asking us to be naive. He's actually asking us to be really practical. Even if I don't have $1 billion in the bank, how rich am I? How successful am I? And I think that part of this is in understanding that the Torah's understanding of what wealth is built very differently. You don't only have to give money because you have a lot of money. You have to give money because you have a lot of opportunity. You're wealthy in opportunity. You know, for a person that comes from a difficult place, they don't know anyone to ask to invest in them. They don't know anyone that they could ask for a job. They don't know anyone that would hire them because they have a relationship. No, one of the things that I like to try and think about, and it's a beautiful thing to think about on your birthday. You know, when you celebrate your birthday, what are you celebrating? You celebrating yourself? You know, the saddest thing in the world used to be a person who would throw their own birthday party, right? Sad, you have no friends. But I think it's only sad if you look at a birthday party incorrectly. A birthday party is not me saying, I'm celebrating me. It's saying thank you. Thank you for everything that I have in this life. And on my birthday today, I'm casting my mind back, not just to my bank account and however many exact dollars I have accessible to spend. I'm casting my mind back for a healthy childhood. I'm casting my mind back to the warmth that my parents raised me with. I'm casting my mind back to all the teachers that I had in my life that inspired me. And I'm remembering specifically the ones that went out of their way to be kind or to be understanding. And when I think of those teachers and when I think of that upbringing, I feel so lucky. I feel so blessed. I think of my health. I feel blessed. I feel such gratitude to Hashem. And in that space, when I feel that way, and someone is coming to you and saying, I'm not as lucky as you. I don't have my health. I'm not as lucky as you. I don't have a place to live. I'm not as lucky as you. I don't have the ability to get a job. From that place, I give with an open heart and hopefully with an open hand. I think that's what the Ben Ish Chai is communicating. You know, there are people who give when they don't have. I just want to mention one of my favorite experiences of this that happened in our synagogue. There was a fellow who came to the synagogue who had no place to live. He was homeless, and I always like to mention his name. It should be a zechut for his soul in Shamayim. His name was Eliyahu Moshe Weiss. He did not have a place to live. I tried to, every once in a while, once a year in the synagogue, we give tzedakah to people that they could have something from the synagogue once a year, a small amount, but at least something, that if someone is collecting, they could come to the shul and get this amount. We raised money to be able to do this so that a person could come for a need once a year. So I tried to give him. He refused to take anything. He would not take anything. He said, the only thing I want is a job. I'm a person, I trained, I have experience in finance. Before everything went wrong and my mazal went a different direction, I was able to work to support myself. That's what I want. I don't want anything else. Help me get a job. I wound up speaking to a few people. At least one or two people that I spoke to at the time are sitting in this room right now. I said, let's help him find a job in his area of expertise if we can. Anyway, I took him upstairs one day and I thought, you know what, maybe if I gave him some privacy, maybe I could help him. And he refused. He wouldn't take anything. I had on my desk a $2 bill that someone had given me from a great tzaddik. And I said, this $2, can I give this to you? It's not tzedakah. It was given to me by a tzaddik, and it was given me with a beracha. I want to give you that beracha, not money. Can I give you this $2? And he says, yes. And I was like, oh, thank God. I finally was able to give him something. He took the $2 bill in his hand. He said, it's mine now, right? I said, yes. He took the $2 bill. I can't tell you, I think about it now, it makes me emotional. He took the $2 bill and he gave it back to me and he says, Rabbi, please give this $2 bill to someone who needs it, to someone who has needs, to someone poor. He only took the $2 so he could fulfill the mitzvah of giving tzedakah to somebody else. But the words themselves were what got my heart. Please give it to someone who's poor. This is a man who was sleeping on a bench in Central Park sometimes. This is a man who did not have a job, who walked and his feet were killing him, and everything he owned was in one backpack. A man who loved to learn. He was excited by learning. He felt at home here when he came to pray. But he didn't feel poor. This is a man who took the Ben Ish Chai's advice and was able to, with nothing in his pocket and with no prospects on his horizon, feel wealthy enough to be able to share what he had. My friends, if that's what he could do with nothing, what could we do with something? How could we temu ourselves and give like billionaires? My friends, why am I bringing this up? I'm bringing this up because when we give to poor people, we think about how much money we have and how much money we could spare. But the nature of giving is not only limited to the tzedakah that you give in a monetary form. It's how much you give to your children. When your children need something from you, what do you need to feel rich in? Time. You need to feel rich in emotional availability. I don't have time for your shenanigans right now. You've come home, you feel like you've got nothing left in the tank, and your kid is kvetching about something. What do you tell him? Figure it out. Because you're low on emotional capital. You're low. You know what? It's hard for me to care right now. I've had a really rough day personally. I could just about take care of myself. Go to your dad. Go to your mom. Leave me alone. What if we gave like billionaires? Like we had enough time, like we had enough heart, like we had enough. It's amazing. It's such a different ballgame. But think about it this way. You don't just give charity to people that have less than you. You give love to people who have less than you. Your love, when you give it to someone who does not feel loved, that is a great act of charity and kindness. Yesterday we were in a class, and one of the people was talking about, again, I don't want to give any details, but how they got in a cab, and when they got out, they said, thank you so much. It was so nice of you. It's such a nice ride. And the taxi driver started crying. And the taxi driver reached their hand back through the glass of the seat, and they were holding hands, front seat and back seat. And the taxi driver said while they were crying to this person, you're the first person that's ever got in my cab, that ever saw me, that ever really talked to me, that ever noticed me. This guy has a job. By the way, I don't know, maybe he even has an iPhone. Maybe he's got, maybe he's got tickets to the Knicks game tonight. But there's a way in which he's so poor and he's desperate for something from you. But why don't we notice those people? Because we're in a rush to get out of the camp and we just don't have time. My friends, if you could feel wealthy and give generously in money, you could feel wealthy and give generously in time. It doesn't take a long time to have enough time to notice somebody. It might only take 30 seconds. You know what the crazy thing is? You're stuck in an Uber with somebody. You're doing nothing the whole journey. If you ask the fellow, how's it going? How's business in New York City? A person can feel seen. They can feel heard. They can feel important. You weren't doing anything anyway. What did you get? 1 second less of social media scrolling? Relax. The world's not going to implode because you didn't see all of the pictures. Nothing's going to happen. My friends, understand this. When we feel generous, we give. And feeling that way is true about everything that we give. I like to just end with this thought. It turns out then that when it says in the pasuk, Kol asher nadva rucho, if you nisa'oli bo, your heart lifted you up, you had desire in your heart. And what did you do? It made you generous of spirit. I think that the pasuk is not describing two things that are the same, but two things that happen one after the other. If you care at all, if you are nisa'oli bo, if you, as the Unkelis explained, if your heart wants to make a difference, then you know what will happen. You'll find a generosity which has nothing to do with how much time, money, effort, skill you have. You'll figure it out. I want to share with you something wild, and this is what I mean when I'm going to end with this Ben Ish Chai. You give a kid a telephone who's never been on social media. You know how long it will take him or her to figure out Instagram or Facebook or TikTok? 20 seconds. Yeah? Ask that same teenager to help you with anything. I don't know how to do this. I don't know, I never did this before. I don't know. Give them an iPhone. They never had an iPhone before. 30 seconds, they're a bigger expert in it than you. They're helping you get on the Wi-Fi, okay? Why? When you want something, if your heart desires something, then suddenly your spirit becomes so generous with that thing because you just want it. It's an unbelievable thing. A kid loves making pizza. He'll make pizzas for the whole family. Ask him to boil rice. Forget it. Why? We find lanes in this life that we love. And on those lanes, giving is effortless. So I'm going to share 2 points to end, like I said. The first is, make sure you understand that your generosity is in your hands. If you want to do something enough, you'll figure out how to make it work, number one. And the second thing is, if you're actually a conscientious person, if you're self-aware, many times you'll be able to find that lane in which giving for you is not just easy, not just simple, but enjoyable. When you find those areas of spiritual and physical nexus, you wind up giving like a champ. You give like a billionaire. Timu is all about me taking more, okay? But tzedakah is all about me being able to give more. Hashem should bless us to always be on that side of the equation. Baruch Adonai Le'olam.